Today is Monday, Parashat Tazria Metzorah. This coming Shabbat, we're going to be reading two parashiot, Tazria and Metzorah. It's also the 13th day of the Omer, which is 1 week and 6 days, and it's under the heading of Yesod Shebagvura, which means foundation or bonding within Gvura, within discipline. Today I'd like to speak on a subject that has to do with the Omer, the counting of the Omer, or the minhagim, the customs of the Omer. We know that during this period of the Omer, all the way until the 33rd day of the Omer, there are certain restrictions that are customs, that we don't get married during this period, that people don't cut their hair, we don't hold parties, music is restricted, that type of thing. And the reason for that is because of the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva who passed away during this period. The reason why they passed away, our sages explain, but before we give the reason that is given by the sages, I'd like to just say a couple of words on the parasha that we read this past week on Shabbat Shemini. In the parashat Shemini, there is the middle of the Torah, the pasuk that says Darash Moshe. Moshe explained, expounded, made a commentary. Darash Moshe. Darash is exactly the middle of the Torah in words. Darash is the end of the first half. Darash is the beginning of the second half. So that is the center of the Torah in words. There's another pasuk in the parasha that we read, Kol holech al gachon, which means holech al gachon, the one who goes. It speaks about the reptiles that are forbidden to eat, and it speaks about the one who goes on its stomach, which means the snake. And in that word gachon, the letter vav is written in large font compared to the rest of the letters in the Sefer Torah. And that letter Vav is exactly the center of the Torah in letters. So we had in the last week's parasha the center of the Torah in words, in Darash, and the center of the Torah in letters, in the letter Vav that is written in larger font. So a beautiful explanation brought by Rabbi Pinchas Friedman. The two middles of the Torah are related, whether it's the middle of the Torah in words or the letters of the Torah in letters. And by the way, the center of anything is the most important part of that thing. It's the strongest, it's the crux of the matter, if you wish. The middle of a tree, the center of the tree is the strongest part of the tree. So therefore, the center, the exact center of the Torah it wants to tell us a very important message. Darash means there was a commentary, there was an explanation. This is about Torah shebe'al peh, the oral Torah, the Gemara, the Mishnah, the words of Torah that are given to us by rabbis, as we read from Pirkei Avot, that there was a tradition from Moshe to Yoshua, to the elders, to the Nevi'im, the prophets, etc. Down the line, this is the oral Torah that is handed from generation to generation. And that's recorded in our books of Mishnayot, Gemara, etc. That is the pasuk Darash. The Vav in Gachon, meaning the serpent, the snake, is representative of Yetzer Hara. And the best way to overcome Yetzer Hara, Hachamim tell us, is by learning Torah. So the letter Vav, which has a numerical value of 6, represents the 6 Sidrei Mishnah, the 6 volumes of the Mishnah or the Gemara. These 6 volumes, the 6 Sdarim, are representative of the Torah shebe'al peh, of the oral Torah, to tell us the importance of the oral Torah in overcoming the temptations of Yetzer Hara. So in the crux, in the middle of the Torah, tells us a very important message, that the most important thing is to be involved in learning Torah, in learning the oral Torah, because that's the main thing. But if we think about Rabbi Akiva and his students, Rabbi Akiva represented the top of oral Torah. He was known as a scholar of incredible excellence, that he was able to be Doresh Tile Tilim Shel Halachot on Kutso Shel Yud, which means he was able to explain mountains of laws based on the little crown on the letter Yud. So his students, 24,000 students, might have been incredible scholars. How come they passed away all during this period? 24,000 of them. That's why we mourn their passing by refraining from having parties or weddings or that type of thing. Our sages tell us because they were not respectful of people who were not at their level. In other words, somebody could be so excellent and accomplished in a field that he becomes very condescending to people who were not at his level. Sometimes a person can feel that people not at his levels do not deserve or earn his respect. And that's what these thousands of students who are at a very high level of knowledge and of scholarly knowledge, they were not respectful and tolerant of others. Very important concept. We see it, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he was for 12 years in a cave learning with his son. When he came out and he saw a farmer working the land, he said, wait a minute, time to plow the land, time to plant the seeds, time to do this, to do that, take care of the field. Torah mate alea. What's going to be with learning Torah? This person is involved in futile pursuits. He looked at him and turned him into a mound of bones. The guy died. Because, in other words, his life was not justified. He heard the heavenly voice that said, Rabbi Shimon, Birazah, go back to the cave. You have more to learn. They learned for another year. When they came out and they saw a person who was running with 2 branches of myrtle in his hands, they said, what is this? They said, well, one is for Shamor, one is for Zachot, this is for Shabbat. Rabbi Shimon said, whoa, even with such unimportant things, our little branches of myrtle, you can do such great mitzvot. He became tolerant of people. That was a lesson that he learned in the second time he went into the cave for 1 more year. Another story, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon. One time I'd learned so much Torah that he felt like on the cloud 9, He felt like incredible. He was writing and he saw this man who looked ugly. Some hold ugly, maybe spiritual, not just physically. And he said, whoa, how ugly you are. Are all the people in your city as ugly as you? And the man responded, Elioda, I don't know. In other words, why do you ask me if I pay attention to other people? A person should be concerned with how well he's doing, not with other people, number one. And number two, if you have complaints, go to the Creator. He's the one that created me. Rabbi Elazar realized his mistake, and he asked that person for forgiveness, and that person would not forgive until they came to the city, and everybody went up to meet Rabbi Elazar, and they asked that man, please forgive him, and he did forgive him. At that point, Rabbi Elazar went into the Bet Midrash, and he said, I have a lesson to teach you today, a very important lesson. A person should be as flexible as a bamboo and not as strong as a cedar tree. In other words, he realized that he should have been more tolerant of that person. Apparently, Mefarshim say that person greeted the rabbi maybe not in the best of etiquettes for a rabbi of the stature of Rabbi Elazar. But here this teaches us also an important lesson. Even though that person was mechoar, ugly, and some say ugly spiritually, Rabbi Elazar should have been more tolerant of him. Of course we have to correct people and tell them how to do right. But at the same time we have to have respect for each person. That was one of the lessons, very important lessons, that both Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar, and Rabbi Shimon learned, but also what the people, the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva were told by Chachamim, that was one thing that they were lacking. And finally, there is a beautiful illustration that is brought by the Hasidic masters that say a person was given 2 eyes. one eye to look at himself critically in terms of what he can improve. Can I do better? Am I doing properly? Am I not doing right? And the other eye to find the good in other people. To find the positive in other people. Unfortunately, people reverse the order of these two eyes. They use one eye to find the critical things in other people, what the other people should improve, how come he's not doing it this way or that way. And when they look at themselves, they look with the eye that looks only at the positive. Person has to have those two eyes be in the right order and perspective. And these are lessons for all of us to learn. And these are some of the concepts that we have during this period of the Omer. Baruch Adonai le'olam, Amen ve'amen.